Hi, happy Sunday. I'm just going to have a quick chat about fear and the shadow, I think, and just awakening or how I'm feeling at the moment. So, I've been aware of my shadow, consciously doing shadow work for about a year now, since I've been living on my own with the kids and I had no one else to blame, no one else's energy to blame and finger point at, blah, blah. And it's taught me so much. But I am at the point now where I'm integrating the shadow. So I've accepted it and I'm pulling bits of wisdom up from the shadow of things that I'm all right with. And the more I strengthen my own auric field, my electromagnetic field, the more at ease I feel with who I am. The better it is for me. There's parts of my shadow that I am not perturbed by. I've got quite a dark sense of humour that I've spoken about before, and it still serves me. It still makes me feel good, to have this strange sense of humour and to laugh with my one friend about certain things, that I wouldn't necessarily want to talk about on here. And I'm all right with that. I'm all right with the fact that I swear. I'm all right with the fact that I'm not vegan, funnily enough. Like, I've struggled with this a little bit. Who knows where I'll go one day, but for me personally, my own moral compass, it's a lower down priority than for me to, be true to myself. Let's put it that way. It's a deep thing, isn't it? But I think how we allow ourselves to feel that we need to live by the standard of someone else's moral compass or ways of living or whatever on the spiritual path, these are again traps. And obviously there's an optimal way that humans could and should live, grand scheme of things, but understanding my own place in my own evolution, but also that of humans as a whole, and where we're heading to. I think it would be better if everybody were vegan, but right now I'm not choosing to hate that part of me that, eats some fish or whatever. I'm not beating myself up that I swear or I smoke or, people can piss me off or whatever. I'm all right with it, and I've always been all right with it, and that's where the juxtaposition came in along this journey. Oh, there's a lovely little bird sat there. I think it's a hummingbird. I think, oh, it's flown off. Yellow and blue it was. I don't know where I was. I'll just change tangent. I'm very aware of my need to not fantasticalize or glorify anything. And I'm a Capricorn sun, and I've got a lot of planets in Capricorn and earth signs. Even my fucking Chinese horoscope is wood ox. So it's like I'm pretty grounded. And we're all different, and that's great. And I just feel like, for me personally, I need to interpret the fantastical in an internal way and apply it to the spiritual awakening, the alchemy of my energy and the change of my psychology, basically, and not to go too far out into anything that appears to me to not fully resonate. And I've spoken about before, there's resonances within every narrative, but I feel like the common denominator within each is the interpretation of the resurrection of the spiritual awakening, which feels to me like it's all done within. So the spiritual awakening, which we all complicate, and that's fine as well, because we all do what we want and, believe what we want and learn our lessons however we do. But for me, it just feels as simple as you reach the peak of your own density allowance within your auric field, how shit you're feeling, how depressed you are, how anxious you are, how fearful you are, or whatever. And when you've reached the peak of that, there's no option but to rebirth, reborn, resurrect, it's the catalyst for the spiritual awakening, from, those densities to experiencing higher states of consciousness. And it's all just so we can feel better within our vessels, just feel better, me feel better. And so I'm just continuously reaffirmed that although obviously we're all individual fractals of the oneness of the source, we're so individual, and that's brilliant, and it's a self awakening. It's awakening to you, and me. I am rough around the edges. Like, I do like to swear. I do like to piss take. I do like to smoke. Actually, you know, I know it's bad for me, but I like to do it, and you know, and whatever, you know, I've got a desire to have a really nice house in the country, maybe in some woods with a river or a lake, and a fucking swimming pool. That's how grand my desires go. And it doesn't make me an evil materialist just because, you know, I would like that pleasurable experience in my life. We don't all need to homogenize and become these light beings that all sit around in the lotus position holding hands and hugging trees, and that's absolutely beautiful, but that's not for me. That's not where my life is going. That's not my priority list. I've got different wants and needs and desires, and my moral compass is good, and that's why I'm not scared of my shadow, you know. But it's different to everybody else's. We've all got these individual signatures, and we have to find a way to be true and to emanate that, to fill ourselves with our own good energy, our own pureness, our own vibration. So for me, I don't like the homogenizing. I don't like the feel of almost the energy harvesting or the vampiric nature within the spiritual community, where everybody has to come to the same conclusions. Everyone has to, you know, believe in the same things, and we just can't accept everyone else's individuality. And so for me, again, just continuing to pull away and to pull down my wisdom from the dimension that I've landed in, where my consciousness has flown off to, and integrate it. And the same with the shadow, the as above, so below. It's me. The shadow is created by the light, but it's the shadow of the same object. It's just distorted. It's me. It's nothing to be scared of. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf kept popping into my head? Not me. And also, the fear is projected through so many subtle ways, including all the bullshit online, but how we put it onto our kids or people around us as well, how our own fears in the shadow project onto others, and, you know, we sort of put our own templates on others unfairly. I was thinking about all the people who believe that most of the world is demonic or AI or, you know, sinister. And I was wondering how they would explain to their kids things like monsters or shadows. Would they say these are invisible, life-sucking energy vampires or demons, and they're all around you in your bed and they're sapping that? It's like, that's just not fair. That's your fear projected onto your kids. And maybe if you believe that's true, that's what you should say. But I don't believe it, therefore it's not. So when my kids are scared of a shadow, I show them how the shadow's created. I explain it to him. I'm explaining to him that your own fear, your own thoughts and beliefs make the shadow come to life. And obviously I'd never disregard any experience that my children had. It's not like I'm, you know, like that. My mind's completely open, and I understand the importance of the individual interpretation and experience. But it's these fear paradigms, they seem to have their own detrimental clasps of energy onto others as well, and it's rife in the spiritual community. I just think I'm wanting to tell myself here now, like, to just carry on being who I am and being all right with who I am. And I've felt a little bit invisibly pulled by people's need to resonate with everything, or to homogenize, or for everyone to sort of get together and take action. And it's, for me, it's like, take action inside for your own self and better your own life and your own decisions, your own moral compass, your own expressions, and, you know, get it out there and don't interfere with anyone else's stuff. Yeah. That was a fucking rant. I don't even remember what I said then. Yeah, I was just thinking that the the resurrection that happens, the spiritual awakening. It's the alchemy of the invisible transformation that's personal to us. We are the book of life, like we write our own stories, and the ability to change the chapters in the future is, for me, what the manifestation is that you become aware of. And yeah. Yeah, it's all invisible energy work, isn't it? And this is why it's so difficult to translate and interpret. But for me, talking to myself here now, I'm just wanting to reaffirm myself that I'm on the right track. I don't need to compare myself to any other one thing or, you know, any other one person, anything. I just need to continue being who I am and being what I want to be. And yeah, I've got some changes coming up. I'm super excited. I'm full of fucking gratitude. And even though this is not the case in the reality, in my head, in my psyche, I am full of wealth and health and happiness and prosperity. You know, I'm feeling good. So I'm patiently waiting for that to reflect in my external experience, and I know it's coming because I know I wrote it and I know I can, you know, take steps to change it. On this infinite spiral of the journey, I'm continuously refining myself, but the end goal is not to be some lifeless light being that has no individual creativity or expression. You know, it's for my consciousness to be above that of duality, which I see as Christ consciousness or unity consciousness, but to embody my own earthly essence and for that to emanate on everything around me and to make my experience in my own fucking body much more enjoyable. So yeah, I just feel like we complicate everything and we place fear onto others, and subconsciously there's so much I think that people even in the spiritual community are not aware of, and how sometimes how obvious their fearful projections are within even things like comments under videos. So I see it through a load of different lenses, but yeah, the acknowledgement for me that some of my darkest parts of my shadow, which obviously have been filled with loads of different things as well. I've struggled with aggression and inner rage, which I've spoken about in loads of videos before, and but it was the judgment of others and how big that whole sort of segment is to peel back. So yeah, I'm on the journey, and I'm grateful, and hope everybody has a fucking lovely day. Don't get scared because you're doing it to yourself. Yeah. Bye.